Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute, but your girl is back and I have so much to tell you, so much gossip, so much tea. So go ahead and get your popcorn, get your hot sauce, get your tamales, because it's gonna be a hot ride. So thank you for waiting on me and being patient. I've been gone for a minute and a lot of you have been asking, where are you, girl? You always say you're coming back to YouTube but you don't post, and I know I am so sorry, but life is crazy and I am so ready to tell you guys stories. And this is the most asked story and it's the most recent, and I just wanted to tell you guys on here because yeah, I want you guys to know. And here we go with the achievement, and make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and I love you guys so much. Oh, and before I leave, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That is the only social media platform I have. It's Instagram. That's all I have. Because people confuse it. They're like, oh, you have Snapchat? I'm like, no, I don't have Snapchat. So it's Barbie_cocaine with no E. So I love you guys and let's get started. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. I don't know if you guys knew, but I lived in Pittsburgh for a minute. I lived there for like a year and a half. Me and my boyfriend were living there with his family because we just didn't have the resources to live on our own, so we lived with his family. And I was okay with that. So we moved over there. It was hard for me to leave my family because I am very close to my family and we're Mexican, so we're like this. So it was really hard for me to leave. But I said, okay, I'm gonna do it for you, and let's just go for it. So we moved over there, and we were working, both of us, and so I want to tell you kind of a background story about me and his family. Me and his dad got along great. Got along awesome. It was peachy. On the other hand, his mom and me did not get along. Neither did his sister like me. They thought I was scum. They really did think I was scum. They knew about my history. They knew that I went to jail. They knew about everything. So I don't kind of blame them for not liking me, but you can't judge a book by its cover, and they were just really, really rude off the bat. So I was really uncomfortable living there in their house because I would not leave the room because of his mom. I would leave the room, get something to eat, and go back in the room. Like, I was really depressed, and I would push myself away from them because it was just a really bad situation. She wouldn't treat me like super bad, but she wouldn't try to be my friend or talk to me. She didn't like me. She would say stuff behind my back and tell my boyfriend, and my boyfriend would end up telling me, and it would just make me feel really, really uncomfortable. And it sucked because when you live with somebody, you have to either get along or it's just horrible. You feel like you shouldn't be there, you feel me? So it was really bad. I would work, come home, and be in that room, and the same thing every day, every day, every day, every day. It got to the point where I didn't even want to go out to eat because his sister would just, it was just really uncomfortable. She would look at me weird. She looked like she was disgusted by me. She like really didn't like me, and neither did, you could just tell they didn't like me. So after a year, I was like ready to freaking leave out of there. I was like, dude, like, I'm trying to go back to Houston because I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, and my family's all here. So I was like, you know what, I really, really want to go back to Houston with my family. They will let us live there, like, and it'd be easier. We could try to find jobs. And at the time, he was starting school in Pittsburgh, so it was really, really hard and iffy to move all of a sudden. So I understood that. So what I told him is, okay, I'll give you a couple months and then we can transfer, and that way it'd be easier. He's like, all right, let's try it. So a couple months went by, and me and his mom just, it got worse. We didn't talk. She would, you could just tell, like, as soon as I left the room, she would talk shit about me, and it was fucked up. I don't know if she was racist. I don't know if she just hold on a grudge because of my past, but I don't know her past, and I'm sure if I knew some shit, which I ended up finding out some shit about her, I wouldn't hold it against her. Like, that's so fucked up how some people just judge you for your past. It's the past. We're in the present. Judge me for the shit I do now. Like, if I'm doing something to you, then you have the authority to treat me like shit, but that wasn't the case. So it got worse, and he was like, I really, really want you to just talk to my parents, like my mom, and like be more friendly. And he kind of was in the middle of it. He didn't want to do anything with it. He didn't have to. He was like, I'm not gonna pick sides. I just don't want you guys to be like, you know, this uncomfortable with each other. So we started to talk. He said something to his mom. I don't know what he said, but she ended up coming around. She kind of started talking to me. The only thing we got along with was makeup. She knew that I had a big collection of makeup. She knew that I was kind of big on Instagram, kind of big like before, and she knew that I had a following, which I didn't care she knew, but she kind of was like, I don't know, that I felt like that's the only reason she liked me. So it was kind of messed up. So she just treated me like shit. So I felt like she was using me. She started asking me to do her makeup. She was asking me to see my makeup collection. It was just, I thought it was kind of a friendly thing because, you know, us girls, we get along with like makeup and hair and clothes. So I was just like, oh, maybe she just, you know, wants to get along like that. So that's the only way we started getting along. I started doing her makeup. We would hang out sometimes, but I would never like really talk to her. It was never a full conversation. And I've always been really, really nervous around people, so I never really like spoke to her because I have anxiety. So I felt like as soon as I speak to somebody, they're already judging me. That's just how I think, and I had that problem. So let's fast forward a couple of months later. We're doing okay. I'm able to leave the room now. I'm okay so far with them. The sister, I never really had an interaction with her. She was older. She's 26, 27, I think. And she just looked like she didn't like associate with nobody. She had like maybe like two friends, and she just looked like she didn't like people much, you feel me? So I ended up just trying to have a conversation with her once in a while, and it was just like that, like plain nothing. So a couple months go by, and Brandon's dad ends up leaving his mom. They had a divorce, or they weren't married, something like that. I don't know, it was confusing, but they just split up. And his dad leaves, and it's just the mom and the sister and me and Brandon. So we're okay. We're just happy. We're okay in the house. We're just trying to get along more because we're by ourselves now, and she has to she has to take care of the house now by herself. So I understood that. I know where she was coming from. So I tried to help out as much as possible. Something happened and it was really screwed up. This one day I wake up and I had two cats at the time. It was Blake and Baxter. I think I've shown you guys on my Instagram a lot of pictures of them. My two babies, I had them for a while. It was like a year and I kept them. I've never had animals before, so it was really my pride possession because it was my babies, you know. So I went to work one day and I come home and the door is open to the house, and I was like, okay, maybe somebody just is cleaning the house and put up all the pets because they had dogs and everything, so they knew to put up the pets because they would run away if you let them out, you feel me? So I was like, okay, I'm sure my door is closed because my room door always stayed closed. My cats would stay in there. So I go in and I see his sister chilling in the kitchen, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, all right, I see that there's no dogs or cats or anything, so I'm just like, I'm hoping, like praying that my door is still closed, because if she hates me and doesn't like me, she would probably, I was already thinking like something was up, like I already knew she would probably open my door or something. So I see that my door is kind of cracked, just like I thought, and my heart starts racing, and I'm like, oh my god, where's my cat, where's my cat? So I'm looking all over the house. I'm just like, oh my god, where the fuck is my cat? I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm talking to Brandon, and she's just sitting there like, oh, I'm sorry, I just didn't know. Like, I left the door open because I was trying to air out the house, and I don't know, I'm sorry about that. Like, what? What kind of person does that? Like, she's all about animals, so she knew that that's if I did that to her, she would have a flip shit. She'd probably kill me. She'd beat me up. So I was like, oh my god, where is my cat? Um, she didn't even help me look for it. She didn't even say anything after that. She went straight to her room. She shut the door and she didn't care. She heard me crying. I was literally crying pretty loud on the phone, and she didn't give a rat's ass. That's the first red flag. I noticed that she was the reason why my cat was gone, and she gave no fucks. She honestly gave no fucks. So I just kind of pushed it away. I was just like, I pushed my anger. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything because I'm that type of person. I'm too nice. I don't say anything. I try not to like be confrontive. I don't try to do drama. So I didn't say anything, and neither did my boyfriend. We lost our cat that day, and I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him. I guess he got out, and she never talked about it. Um, Neither did my boyfriend. He never said anything about it, so that just shows me that he was really afraid of her, which is fucked up. But yeah, he never said anything. So we lost our cat that day, and ever since then, I kept up with my one cat, and I still have him. I show you guys all the time on my Instagram. But yeah, I take care of him so well. Like, I'm scared that anything happens to him. So I'm just that's just what happened. So fast forward a couple next months, me and Brandon weren't getting along that well. We were arguing all the time. We were like at each other's faces all the time, and it was fucked up because me and him we weren't just getting along, but everybody in the house could hear us yelling. So I knew that his mom was back to not liking me, and everybody was like annoyed by us. Um, it was fucked up because I couldn't do anything about it, and neither could Brandon. We're just not in a good state of mind at that point of our lives. Just imagine living with somebody like as soon as you start dating them and like never leaving their sight. Like, it was annoying. We were at each other's throats. So after that, I saw that they started treating me different again. They were starting to treat me like shit, trying to convince him to leave me, trying to do like anything they could to get me out the house, which was really, really screwed up. I paid for rent there, so I don't know. It was just a really fucked up situation. I finally convinced Brandon to move out. He agreed to it after 2 years. He agreed to it, so we made plans to move to Texas with my family. I told them, you know what, we can go for a week or two, find jobs, and then come back for all of our shit because we have a lot of shit. We had he has a bunch of like PlayStations, TVs, like dressers, like bed, like clothes, like it was just a bunch of shit. Like, it was a lot. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna go on the plane this time, and when we come get our shit, we could just drive up because we were gonna buy a car here in Texas. So we were just gonna drive up and get our shit. Okay, so that was the plan. We booked our flights, we left, and we took my cat and a couple of things, a couple like essentials. I took my everyday makeup and like a couple clothing items. It was like maybe like 20 shirts, 20 pants, which is like a lot, but to me that was like not even half my clothing. So I took that much, left, and we found great jobs. We both found jobs pretty quick, but with that schedule, we couldn't just leave our jobs and just get up and be like, hey, we just got our jobs and can we get time off to go get our shit, you know what I mean? It was kind of hard. So we waited a couple months. It was, I think, 2 months we waited, and we finally got authorization from our jobs to leave, you know? So we got a Jeep, and we drove up, and I was pretty excited because I had so much makeup, and I was excited to wear new stuff. I was so tired of wearing the same shit. I was like, oh my god, I'm over this. So finally we get there. It was a 2-day drive. It was so exhausting, but it was finally, it was worth it. So I get there, and I had a bad feeling from the start that I was gonna be missing shit. I just didn't know how much shit I was gonna be missing. I had asked him, "You think I'm gonna be missing makeup?" And he's like, "No, no, I doubt it." And I was really paranoid. I knew that they didn't like me, so it was really fucked up. Because when we left, they promised us our shit was gonna be safe. So we get there. I go straight to the room. I didn't even say hi to anybody because I knew something was gonna be missing. And as soon as I walk in the door, I see shit kind of like moved. It looks like shit was like it's people was in there. Like you could tell somebody was in there. Some of my clothes were like on the bed, things were on the floor, my makeup was kind of scattered, which I left the room pretty clean when I left. I start looking through my makeup drawers, and all of my MAC lipsticks were gone. They only left, I think, two, and it was like an ugly color. Um, Three of my MAC blushes were gone. Six of my eyeshadow palettes were gone. My Naked palette 1 and 2. They took all of my crown. It was a crown brush eyeshadow palette. I used those a lot because I used to work with them, and I used to get stuff from them because I would promote their products, and I loved their eyeshadow palettes. So I had most of those palettes, and they were all gone. A lot of my lipsticks were gone. I broke down because that's most of my makeup. Like, it was a lot. And I started crying, and I told him, "You need to tell him something, you need to tell him something." And he was being a puss. He was like, "I'm not going to tell him anything because they're not going to let us leave with our shit, and we still have to spend the night. I'll tell him something tomorrow." And I was like, "Are you serious? Like, if some of your shit was missing, you'd be throwing hell." I was like, "You have to defend me, you have to say something." And he didn't say anything. He was pretty much just like, "I'll ask what happened, but I'm sure they're gonna tell me nothing, or they don't know." So he goes down there, and they say, "We don't know," like he said they would. And he comes back up, and he's like, "Well, they say that they don't know where it's at, so I don't know what to tell you." And I was like in a corner, like I didn't know what to do. And I've never confronted his family like that. I've always respected them. I've always talked to them nice. I've never had an argument with them. So it was really fucked up to know that they were just kind of like using me. Like they took advantage of me because they knew that I would never say anything to them. But when you push somebody that far, you finally crack. And I ended up telling them something. I went downstairs, and he's like, "No, no, no, don't say anything. I swear if you say something, like, I'm gonna be pissed." And like he was just like trying to convince me not to say anything. But I still said something. I went down there, and I was like, his mom was sitting on the couch, and I asked her politely, I said, "Do you know where my makeup is? Because I went up there and none of it's there." And right ahead, like straight ahead, she was like in a bad mood. She was giving me attitude. She was like, "I don't know where the hell your makeup is." She was like, "I don't know where none of it is. None of it is. I haven't been up there since you left." She's like, "I haven't touched anything. Like, I don't know why you're coming over here asking me." And I was just like, I'm asking you because it's your house, and like we've been gone for 2 months, and when I left, all of my makeup was there." And she was just kind of like getting really like, she's white trash. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. She's white trash. She's just got up and started fucking getting in my face. I didn't even got in her face. She got in my face. And she started yelling at me, talking about it's my fault for leaving it. She's like, "It's your fault. You shouldn't have left it." She's like, "You just got up and left. You guys just fucking got up and left. It's not my fault." She's like, "If you're missing something, it's not my fault." And I'm like, oh my god. Like, at this point in my head, I was like, am I about to fight her? Like, honestly, is this about to be a brawl? So she's yelling at me. I'm just standing there literally looking at her like in shock. I was shook. I'm trying to explain to her that I just want to know where my stuff is. So I get loud, she gets loud. We're screaming at each other at this point. We're like face to face like this. She's spitting at me. And then all of a sudden you see his sister coming down the stairs. And let me tell you, his sister's big. She's like literally bigger, like chunkier than me. She's like almost 200 pounds. She's running full force, pushes my head, grabs my head, pushes it in the wall. I hit my head. She's like smacking me in my face, and she's like, you don't fucking disrespect my mother, you fucking skinny ass bitch. Like talking all this crap, talking me like I've never seen them like you can just tell their anger for me was a build up. Like they did not like me and they were just finding a way to beat me the fuck up. And I was like, what the fuck? So then that's when Brandon gets down and he's like splitting us up. He pushes her off of me. He's just yelling. Everybody's yelling. I'm like storming to the side because I'm calling the cops. I'm like, I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna fucking call the cops. So I called the cops and I told them what was going on. They show up. So by the time they showed up, it was like 10 minutes later. I had already gone upstairs because I was not trying to get fucking beat up. Like, I've been to jail before and I'm not trying to go back. And I know those bitches were going to try to get me to hit them so they could say that I hit them first. That way I can go to jail. No, sweetie. So that's why I didn't touch them. Because if you guys are going to comment and be like, oh, you're a pussy, I would have fought them. I'm not going to go back to jail for some bitches. And I wasn't going to let them win because that would be a win for them. They would be like, oh, we got her. And I didn't touch him. I walked away. I called the cops. I went upstairs and I waited. So they got to talk to the cops when they got there, and then they called us down. So we got down there. They had already known the story that they told them. So I was the only one crying at the moment. Like everybody was just standing around and I was crying. My face was red. And pretty much my boyfriend talked over me and he was like, nothing happened. It was a misunderstanding. Like it was just like girl on girl fight. Like it was just stupid. And he's like, well, was there any violence? And he's like, no, there wasn't. So I didn't even get to say anything. I don't even know why. I was pretty shooked up and like I didn't know what to say, and I should have said something, and I know I was stupid, but when you're in that moment, you don't know what's going on. You're kind of like, what the fuck just happened? So I was just standing there pretty much just like looking at him like, are you really gonna say this right now? So the cops leave and we go upstairs and I'm like trying to convince Brandon. I'm like, dude, like I really, really want to leave. I don't want to spend the night here. Like I'm not safe. He's like, no, we gotta go to sleep. Like we have to pack up all our shit tomorrow. So we did. I fell asleep and the next morning he packs everything up and everybody acted pretty much like nothing happened. All of my shit was gone. Everybody pretty much didn't care. It was just fucked up. It wasn't even about the makeup. It was about the fact that they hated me so much that they became violent because I asked a question. You can just tell they were guilty and it was fucked up and I couldn't believe it. I felt cornered because nobody had my back. I was by myself and I don't even know what would happen if I didn't, like, if Brandon didn't come downstairs. They probably would have beat me up or something. I don't know. It was just a fucked up shit. Like, I can't even talk. It was just fucked up. So, Brandon and me, we were okay after that. We ended up kind of like having our own argument and I broke up with him and I was just like done over it because he blamed me for starting the whole thing. He's like, it was your fault because you asked and you went down there, and he's like, I told you not to say anything, and it just pissed me off that that's how he saw things. It was just fucked up, and I will never forgive him for that. But I understand people have to defend their family, but it was just really fucked up. I just don't believe that I will ever have a relationship with his mom. And I'm okay if we like I said, like getting back together, being with him, whether I'm with him or not, it's gonna be, I'm never gonna be okay with his family, you know what I mean? So I'm just, that's what happened. All my shit was gone, and it was fucked up. And I knew something was up. Like, you know when you have that feeling, like you already know something's up? That's what happened, and I already knew it. So, from the start, I knew they got rid of my cat. I knew that they stole all my makeup. I knew that they didn't like me. So, it was probably my fault because I stayed there. I should have left a long time ago, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's the story about what happened, and I posted it on Instagram. I showed you guys clips. of the missing makeup, but if you didn't get to watch it, I'm sorry. I posted it on like the Insta story, but a lot of you were asking what happened, make a story time, so here it is, and it's really fucked up. Comment down below what you think I should have done, or what do you think I was in the wrong. I don't know, but thank you for all the support I was getting after. Everybody like messaged me paragraphs and like showed me so much love, and it was just crazy how many people like me, like, or love me. Like, it's just crazy. I want to cry, because some people don't deserve to be treated like that because you're nice and they take advantage of you. But I love you guys so much. I'll try to be more active on YouTube, and until next time, I love you so much. Bye, babies.